How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another video about anxiety. Today, I'm going to talk about the panic attack that I had on Monday. I'm going to talk about how it felt and how I got myself to the point where I basically looked at it and said, bring it on. Took some work, and it didn't last the entire time that I wanted it to, but I still faced what was bugging me, and I'll get into more detail here in just a second. Stay tuned, it's gonna be a good one. Hey folks, welcome back. I haven't made a video since Let's Talk Day. Kind of a big day around here. I think there was over 105 million texts, tweets, and shares. And Bell Canada donated 5 cents. So somebody barking. Donated 5 cents for every text, share, or tweet that was sent. So I think that made it over $6 million. Then there was a really cool show on TV about Claire's journey across the country last year, talking about mental illness. So it is getting more awareness. It's not looked at as, oh, just get over it anymore. As much, I should say that way. I think it's still a little bit, but not as much. And it's getting the recognition it deserves. Because everybody faces it in a way or another. They just don't know it. So folks, on Monday I had a dentist appointment. I've been to the dentist my whole life. Pretty good looking teeth, right? Had fillings before. And had my mouth frozen before. But I had this built up in my head so much that it was going to be a lot worse than it is. But it seems so real that it became scary. So I listened to a podcast from Zig Ziglar. If you don't know who he is, I recommend downloading his podcast free on iTunes. Some of the older versions are of him only. His newer version, because he passed away in 2012, the newer version is his son, the CEO of Ziglar Incorporated, I'm going to tell you. The Ziglar Company. Anyway, the way Zig Ziglar explains things, I just get. And one of the things he says, now I don't know if he made this, or invented it, or created it, or whatever, but one of the things he actually says in one of his podcasts is he talks about fear, and he breaks it down like this. False emotions appearing real. Fear. False emotions appearing real. Now, when I heard that the first time, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Because that's completely what it is. They're illogical. They're blown way out of proportion. And the emotion behind it is so overwhelming that you feel like, there's some people I'm sure that feel like they can't leave. I know that they feel that they can't leave their house. That's a horrible way to live. So, again, Zig Ziglar podcast, iTunes. If you have an Apple product, I recommend downloading it. I have both an Apple and an Android product, so I don't know how you get it on an Android device yet. I haven't figured that out. But, well worth it. Man, is it ever well worth it. So, anyway, guys, back to what I was saying. I went to the dentist on Monday, but had a later appointment. And I spent the majority of the day okay with what I could expect from this appointment. I was going to get a freezing, I was going to get a cavity, but there was potential I could get a root canal because there was one nerve that wasn't freezing and they thought the tooth was dying. So without getting into details, I had it in my head that what if? I hate the what ifs. They're false alarms. They come out of nowhere. And to be honest, a lot of them don't make any sense. Now, I also heard a Mark Twain saying that really hit home for me as well. And it was, I think he said, man, I've lived a horrible life. And some of it actually came true. Because what you dream in your head, or what I dream in my head, and what it builds up to be, it's horrible. But 90% of it doesn't come true. It's only what we've thought up in our head. So this is what I built up in my head. Possible root canal. This is gonna suck. What am I gonna do? And then I got to thinking, and it really, really started to make me feel anxious. I was starting to get in panic mode. I could feel it coming. Even though I knew how to fight it off and manage it. And part of it's just letting it be there. But it got to the point where I didn't want it there anymore. I was so sick of it already, and it had just got there. But it was building and building. And then I had a thought, and it changed the entire game for me. It changed the game so much that I actually looked at it and said, you know what? Bring it on. Bring it on. And that thought was, what if I have a panic attack the entire time? What if? Play it out in my head. I get to the dentist, I'm in panic mode. He leans me back, I'm in panic mode. He freezes me, I'm in panic mode. Freezes me again. But to the point where I'm panicking throughout this whole thing. So what? I'm not going to die from it. I'm going to be around afterwards, and there's only going to be a little bit of tooth pain. Once I figured that out, and I was thinking logically again, I was able to get to the point where I was looking at it and go, you know what? Bring it on. Because I found out all the what ifs were, well, what if I die from it? What if I don't survive? What if? Well, what if? Challenge the what ifs. What if I have a panic attack throughout the whole thing? I'm not going to die. What if they judge me for being in freak out mode? So what? I've identified the fact that I deal with anxiety, manage anxiety. So what? What if? And once I was able to challenge those what ifs, the light just turned on and said, you know what? Bring it on. Didn't last the entire time, and when I sat down in the dentist chair, sure enough, I started freaking out again. But guess what? It turned out being nothing. So, challenge the what ifs, guys. This is what I have done. Not easy, but if you're willing to put in the work, definitely worth the payoff. Can't tell you how much it's worth the payoff. Try it, guys. Fear. False emotions appearing real. Man, that just hits home. I'll leave it there, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.